You are now tuned in to Leonard Innovation, where the focus is on entrepreneurs who don't come from wealth, but have the potential to be great. The following is a question I recently answered on a website called Quora. And the question was, what caused Toys R Us to go out of business? Was it because Amazon offered discounts to its customers, or was there another reason for this? And one of the responses pointed to a lawsuit that took place around 2004 between the toy maker and Amazon. By the way, Toys R Us won that lawsuit. And while it may have been a contributing factor, it's difficult to pinpoint a single reason. So in this short episode, I'm going to list several potential reasons for the company's downfall. What can current or future business owners learn from big business failures? Well, a lot. I'm going to quickly show you how to look at these situations in a more sophisticated manner, and you will see how each point I make can be used to protect your business long term. It should also be noted that Toys R Us, through its new owner, has recently made a comeback, but an important part of business is a state of constant or stable economic conditions. Here are 7 factors to consider for the company's sudden demise several years ago. 1. If consumers change their behavior over time, a business can suffer. In this case, there was a change in consumer behavior due to technology. For example, shopping at brick and mortar stores less often due to things like increased access to cell phones, better internet accessibility, affordability of mobile devices, and streamlined billing practices. So around the time that Toys R Us started hemorrhaging, the internet as it pertained to accessibility via mobile devices kind of sucked. If you recall, you had to pay these ambiguous roaming charges and they were limited to so many minutes, which meant your cell phone bill was never consistent. Establishments like restaurants offered access to their internet credentials if you patronized their businesses. So once this process was streamlined and less confusing, it was naturally going to change consumer behavior in a way, because now you had more cell phone users who were able to shop at work while they were bored, for example. And companies that were better positioned for mobile shopping would have had an edge. Another example would be reading online reviews to influence purchase decisions versus going into a physical store to touch and test the product. Number 2, any inability to pivot or adapt to changes in the market can wipe out a business. Number 3, the IRS technically doesn't allow businesses to hoard cash. Excess profits are taxed annually. If businesses were allowed to do things like hoard cash or keep 100% of their tips, for example, the business survival rates would shoot up. Number 4 is new market entrants or competition from stores that previously didn't focus on toys. So all of a sudden, Target, who used to have maybe 2 to 4 rows of toys, now has 20 rows of toys. And then you have businesses that were previously not even around suddenly are popping up selling toys. So changes like this would cause an erosion of sales for Toys R Us. 5, commercial leases. For most companies, wages and benefits take up the largest monetary allocation. Rent is number 2. It's easy to expand a business when things are good, but when things go south, sometimes you need a way to pause or maybe cancel your lease. But often you are contractually obligated to fulfill the terms of the lease. And if you can't pay, it could mark the end of an era. Very difficult to significantly downsize a business. Number 6 is an outdated marketing strategy. What used to work may not work any longer. So if they made toys, for example, like Tickle Me Elmo and certain video games exclusively available at Toys R Us stores for maybe, let's say, the first 2 to 4 weeks, it would have possibly given them an edge over everyone competing in the toy space. And number 7 is an inability to capitalize on inconsistent sales tax regulations for online purchases. Did Amazon exploit and ultimately benefit from unclear and ambiguous sales tax laws in several states? One can only assume, but unfortunately, Toys R Us was unable to use the same amount of leverage because they already had the brick and mortar strategy in place. And presumably by the time they started doing online sales, it was just too late. They just didn't have the market dominance that Amazon had. And once again, businesses need homeostasis. Any disruption can wreak havoc, leaving the business nowhere to go but down.